1. September hat Atomos den Ninja Assassin vorgestellt und wir durften ihn schon exklusiv vorher testen und konnten unseren Kunden ein Video zur Verfügung stellen, wo wir das Gerät vorstellen. Jeromy, thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to test the Ninja Assassin first. It was really nice that we could do the film. I want to hear from you, how were the reactions to the Ninja Assassin?
Yeah, it was the best launch we've ever had. We had 100,000 views on our video in a week. We sold out of the 3,500 units first production in a week. And yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And obviously ramping up second production now. Probably the best bit was that we could ship on the day we announced. People didn't have to wait. Yeah. We never liked announcing early. Sometimes you have to, depending on market conditions. And Sony said to us, let's partner for the Shogun. So we had to do that. Yeah. But it's much better for everybody when you announce and ship on the same day. And it was a very coordinated launch. We got to send it out to people to test and give us feedback before shipping it. And we added quite a few features, like we changed some frame guides, we changed just some smaller feedback because we had time to do it. And I think just before a trade show is a really nice time to launch a product.
I heard that you sold quite a lot of units. How many are there if you look all over your product line, so all the Ninjas together? And
We've done over 100,000, I think it's 106,000 units in 5 years. So it was 5 years ago, IBC, that we launched the Ninja One, just me and Ian together at our Hall 7, very small, tiny booth.
I was there.
You were there. You came by. You're like, what is this thing? That was the first time we had an interview, right? And so over 100,000 customers. We've got our own little ecosystem going. You know, that Ninja 2 people have bought a Ninja Blade and now they're buying a Ninja Assassin. And that's the most humbling thing for us, is that the people using it truly like using it. And they come up to us and they want to say thank you, and that's very humbling. So it keeps us motivated.
I've heard some rumbles about pricing. How is it? The Ninja 2 and Ninja Blade, is it still the same price, or what's going on there?
We basically halved the prices of them all. So yes, Ninja 2 is now $295.
But now everybody can buy one.
Everybody can buy one, especially for their older cameras. HD cameras are still very good cameras, and you can upgrade from the 20 or 30 megabit MPEG that was in them, 5-6 years ago, and then you can go up to 220 megabits in ProRes, and then go straight into your editing package. And with those little devices, you can record to hard disk, so it's very affordable. Not just SSDs. You can go
and it's real full HD. It's not like 1440 something.
No, it's 1920 1080, and and even the cameras that were HDV with an HDMI output, the last few, the Z5, Z7, these type of cameras, those are pumping out HD out of the sensor, whereas internally they were recording 1440. So you can really get good quality out of the cameras. And I just hope every student, anyone who's got that second or third camera, they can really upgrade everything to be ProRes across the board. And they're nice little tools to play out at events and things like that as well.
Talking about students, I heard you also support students in a way that when they buy such a high-priced product, they get some discount?
25%, 25% discount. And why we do that is we want to support the creative people coming through. We see the boom that is video, and we think we have a responsibility as a company to help students and people who want to learn about how to do it to come into the world of using better tools. And if they can touch our product and feel how easy it is to use, they can be more creative in their endeavors.
Then something completely different. I heard some rumbles about Atomos did not buy AJA, and I didn't really understand this message. What has happened there?
There was no discussions about buying AJA. Look, they're a great company. I wish them all the best, and they've got their new endeavors in cameras and infrastructure products. And I'm pretty clear that Atomos is on its own path, and acquisitions are not on our radar right now.
Okay. But you wouldn't say that it's absolutely no-go. If there's somebody who has something you would like, it might be?
Yeah, if the partnership works really for both parties, I'd love to commercialize more products into the market, into different market segments. We've got a lot of ideas on infrastructure that stayed very stale for a long time. We think we can bring a lot of innovation and improvements to those workflows. But they take time. Things like converters, rack mount, Ethernet, web GUI infrastructure. So that would be a nice marriage. So AJ have that kind of product. It's whether the size of the two companies, the personalities of the two companies would fit.
I understand. But still, you're not really looking for somebody selling cameras, right?
No. Definitely not. Definitely not.
I mean, your friends from Blackmagic, they're not only selling things like converters and field recorders, they have cameras. Can you comment on them? What do you think about them?
Well, firstly, I think there's two things. When you make products against the incumbent masters, if you make a car and you're going to take on BMW, you're going to want to make sure that you're very, very, very good.
Yes.
And I think if it was me, I wouldn't have tested the products on the customers. I would have spent more time getting the product right. I would have chosen better sensors to use. I wouldn't have gone for rock bottom prices. And I would have focused less on the size of it and more on the function of it. And I think that kind of sums up the different philosophies that company has to ours. We want a polished, refined, great product from day one. And some companies don't mind throwing things out into the market and having their users kind of beta test it for them. Google does that.
When we just were at the Blackmagic booth, we could see the Urso Mini, which now with a B4 mount looks like an ordinary camera, right?
It's exactly the same.
When you compare it from the beginnings, that we discussed that with them, you could say that somehow they have learned.
Somehow. However, if you talk about innovative design, this does not look like all the other cameras that have come out before from Sony. There's some very, very nice additions to it. And my favorite is this handle. This is the rig that I will use from now on because I can hold it in one hand. It's not very heavy. It's 1.2 kilos with all of this on. The camera body is extremely light. And I think if you want to look at great industrial design, look no further than my friends in Japan. Maybe you can
just name again the benefits of using the Assassin together with the FS5.
Okay, so the FS5 has a great 35mm, super 35mm sensor. It's the same as the FS7 sensor. It does MPEG internally at 100 megabits. And that's heavily compressed from 4K. So it's really for delivery, right? For a news gathering. But from the sensor over HDMI, we capture 422 10-bit into ProRes or DNX, and that gives you around 10 to 15 times the quality of what that MPEG is. Plus, it's much easier to move around and edit and do other things with it.
So it's a perfect fit.
1295, 5,000 euro. For 6,000 euro, you get the best combination of recording and sensor in the world.
I see. Perfect. Jeromy, thank you so much, even to answer my very
no problem.
annoying
Any questions? They're not annoying. You're never annoying. Thank you.